here to talk about autism awareness and mental health awareness, bullying, and so much more. Sean Sullivan is here, and he turns lived autism, bullying, depression, and crisis into a mission to reach people before hopelessness wins. He is the founder of the I Know Autism Foundation, and he helps schools, shelters, and organizations address autism, suicide prevention, and resilience. So we are here to talk about crisis prevention, self-advocacy, and just what Sean has discovered on his own about fundraising, social networking, nonprofit outreach, is making a difference, basically. So, Mr. Sean, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing very fabulous. It's a wonderful day with my son this afternoon, and we're going to swimming lessons in a few hours. But in the meantime, squeezing in little bits of work, including speaking with you. And so, what are you all about? What do you think makes you unique, and what makes you stand out?
I would say that the definition of my identity is 100% being worthy and helping people be the best them. And what I mean by that is doing my part to make sure that not only am I remembered when I leave this earth, but people that I interact with are also remembered as well. I think that a lot of times in my past I wanted to give up, but what has stopped me from giving up was the thought that if I did give up, then the story of Sean Sullivan would just end there. I don't want that. I want my story to be a bestseller. I want my story to be filled with extraordinary experiences, and I want my story to be passed down through the generations.
Very good. That's a wonderful mission to be on. So you're saying that you want your story to continue and help others and have that ripple effect and inspire others and leave the world better than you found it. And so I'm curious, what have you struggled with?
So a lot of times in my past and sometimes currently, I struggle with things like getting opportunities sometimes, like very often. I feel like that no matter what I accomplish, the majority of people around me only see my autism. They don't see my abilities. And so that's really stressful and frustrating. That's actually one of the reasons why I'm involved in different disability organizations, and why a very specific organization that I work with is Autism Speaks. I'm an ambassador for them, and I actually had a slight hand in getting a government bill passed. The bill that I'm referring to that I helped get passed is the Autism Cares Act. It's a bill that protects and serves people with autism. It isn't perfect, but nothing is, and no one is. But the bill does a lot of good. It's, I would say, another challenge that I've faced is overcoming past trauma. And I've been doing some research on people that have, on successful people that have overcome traumas, and I've been listening to their stories, and that's given me a lot of hope, and that's actually one of the reasons why I started my own my own nonprofit and my own website. It's one of the reasons why I continue to work towards my goals, and I just want to be there for the people that matter most to me.
Very good. Well, very nice. And it seems like there are some paradoxes, aren't there? There's like you say that like the autism awareness and fundraising is a big part of what you do, but you also don't want to just be defined by only that. And my 6-year-old son, he was diagnosed autistic when he was a year and a half old, and I'm always trying to seek better understanding, right? Because it's like he's really smart. He can spell. He loves numbers, but sometimes it's difficult communicating with him. And as a parent, I'm always thinking like, okay, I don't want him to get bullied or excluded or left behind. So there's quite a bit to navigate there. And so as far as what you teach about the autism awareness and understanding and what should be done, like what's your take on autism and what we should all learn about it?
So, in my opinion, one of the reasons why autism is why so many people ostracize and tease people who not just have autism but who are different in general. But specifically for this conversation with autism is because they themselves do not have anyone they care about that have autism. And also, a lot of people don't know what autism is, which is surprising because I'm not sure if you are aware of this, but this is what I've found, what I, based on research that I've done, which was about a year ago. I found out that 1 out of 30 people have autism in the U.S.
I believe it.
1 out of 30 people.
Yeah.
So, with those numbers, you would think that more people would know what autism is and would be aware of things that come with autism. but I guess also considering that autism is a relatively new diagnosis, if you consider how old humanity is, then I would say that it isn't surprising at all.
Right.
But my advice regarding how to improve conditions for people with autism and decrease the stigma around autism is not giving up in regards to what you want for your son and what he wants for himself in the face of adversity.
Wonderful. So
I'm
have
not.
goals, have a clear picture of success.
Does that make sense?
It does. And to help us understand, like, what would you say is the definition of autism?
I would say the definition of autism is that there is a definition of autism because it's a spectrum. And what I mean by that is Bill Gates has autism, so does Steve Jobs, so does Elon Musk, so does Albert Einstein. Perhaps you've heard of them. I'm
Right.
kidding. Funny, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and also there are people that are nonverbal and have a IQ of less than 5 who have autism as well.
Yes.
So it's extremely difficult to define that, I think. Would you agree?
I would agree that there's different, I don't know if severity is the right word, but sometimes autism is mild or extreme and expresses in different ways. And I think it's easy if you don't understand, then you just to write the person off. And I think many years ago there was some famous autistic person where he was in New York City, and they took him up in a helicopter ride for 20 minutes, and then he came down and he filled an entire wall with like the whole cityscape, like every single building and street, and
I
it's like
think
amazing.
I think that you would call that person a savant.
Ooh, yes, I've heard of that term as well. And so, like, what is a savant?
A savant is an individual. At least I might be mistaken, but I believe a savant is someone. There's a couple requirements that I think that I could be wrong about, which are: first, you have to have autism, and second, you have to have a skill that is genius level.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I believe a savant is.
Okay, well, fair enough. And as far as your own personal journey, like, were you nonverbal, or did you have problems like communicating or functioning, or what has your evolution been like?
My official diagnosis is pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified.
Okay.
Which a few years ago was part of autism. It was like the triangle: autism, Asperger's, and PDD-NOS. But now, recently they got rid of Asperger's and PDD-NOS. So now it's only autism.
Now it's all neurodivergent, correct?
Yeah, and now the only diagnosis is autism.
Okay. And
So
this, yeah. Well,
there's
this
no
is
longer
interesting too. Yeah. Go ahead. My mistake.
there's no more Asperger's. Doctors can't use Asperger's anymore, and also doctors can't use PDD-NOS anymore. It's just autism.
Okay. That is a good education. And what's, I think, when the pandemic happened, it really showed how a lot of people just don't understand science, right? Science, it gets reconfigured. They say, hey, we have this new model, this new way of looking at things, right? It goes DSM-4, DSM-5, so things change, and sometimes we have to keep up. And some people are ignorant, and they say, oh, just because I don't understand this or because it's changed, I won't even bother learning about autism or neurodivergent people. And that's why we need someone like you to do the public speaking and the advocacy. And so I'm curious about like what that journey has been like when you've been kind of fundraising or you've been speaking. Like, is there anything that you've learned or that has surprised you in this journey of getting the word out?
I would say that the most surprising experience that comes to me at the moment was that life is full of the unexpected. And so one thing that I did not expect was that I was one of the very few people that never got COVID. And I was also one of the very few people that never really got a chance to do anything that pertained to that subject.
Well, nice. Well, I'm curious about what is in store for you as far as the future or anything we might have not explored in our conversation. So, do you think there might be a missing question right now that I should be asking you? I just don't know to ask you.
Yeah. Where do I see myself in 5 years?
Where do you?
I want to give a speech to the United Nations.
Ooh, nice. And what is your plan for that? Are you doing something every day, or how will you make that a reality?
I'm just going to continue to build my brand, build upon my nonprofit, my I know fundraising.org website, my own podcast, and get more people to know about me until I go viral. And
Very
I'm
good.
actually invited to speak to the UN.
Very amazing. Well, I'm in full support of you. I'm here for you. And so you say that the website is iknowfundraising.org, and then you have your very excellent podcast, I Know Disabilities, Mental Health, or I Know Autism. And so tell me about like where we should go now. If we've heard from you, we've been educated a little bit, want to know more about the amazing man that is Sean Sullivan. What are some next steps?
If you want to support me, you can visit my website. I also have I've also written 4 books. They're on Amazon. Just go to Amazon.com and type in Autism Sean Sullivan in the search bar in autism, and you'll find my books. I also have. I'm proud to say that my nonprofit has partnered with the movie theater franchise Regency theaters. I mean, Regal theaters, as well as Krispy Kreme.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Those are some good partnerships.
thank you. They're nationwide.
Very nice. Well, I'm proud of what you've accomplished, Mr. Sean, and a lot more to go, because this is important. As you say, 1 in 30 people have autism. Sometimes it's misunderstood, and we're hoping that it's much more civilized than, say, in 1950, that you get autism, maybe they lock you up in a mental institution. Scary stuff. But then I think we've all met at some point like a 70-year-old man who has tons of model train sets, right? So it's like autism's always been around. It just was not properly diagnosed or understood. And it's there whether we understand it or not. So why not get some educating? And that way we can have some better results. And so those books that you mentioned, you search Autism Sean Sullivan on Amazon, and we find Turning Pain into Power, My Story of Autism and Advocacy, The Spectrum Society, and we have the Autism Advantage. And so you can check out these amazing books. We'll have the links in the show notes. But where Sean really wants you to go is iknowfundraising.org, where you can find out about his nonprofit, his speaking, and most importantly, his very inspiring mission to speak in front of the United Nations to get the word out. So Sean Sullivan is an autism self-advocate, keynote speaker, and nonprofit strategist. And this nonprofit is called I Know Fundraising, and he delivers lived experience presentations that combine deep personal insight with practical evidence-based strategies. So if you're a school, corporation, community group, etc., and you're looking for a very amazing, impactful autism speaker who can move past simple awareness and build this culture of true belonging, then contact this amazing individual, Sean Sullivan, the man, the myth, the legend. You'll find him on LinkedIn. We'll have all those links in the show notes. And iknowfundraising.org is the place to go. But before I let you go, Mr. Sean Sullivan, it is time for the scary part of the podcast, where I try to stump you. I try to put you on the spot by asking about a fun or interesting quote or lesson that has served you. So what comes to mind as far as a fun or interesting quote or lesson?
The grass is green wherever you water it.
Very nice. That's true, right? Life is what you make of it. And so don't look for more grass, fix up the grass that you have. And so, iknowfundraising.org, get educated and find out about Sean, his nonprofit, and his speaking, and find out about what autism is, because as we've been saying, it's different for everyone. So it is hard to grasp. There's not really just this one singular definition. And so if you have it, if you know someone with it, etc., then it's very important, especially in this day and age, to be neurodivergent aware, and don't be a bully, because people die from this sort of stuff, right? There's suicide, there's substance abuse. It's really sad. So we need to be just more aware of neurodiversity, autism, disability inclusion, mental health, bullying, prevention. And we heard it from Mr. Motivational Speaker Sean Sullivan, how important this stuff is. So iknowfundraising.org, and search Autism Sean Sullivan on Amazon. Check out those amazing books, get yourself educated. And thank you, Mr. Sean, for showing up, stopping by, and telling us what we should know about bullying prevention, autism awareness, etc. Really glad that we had this conversation. So thank you.
No problem. I appreciate you having me on your show. Thank you so much.